What is up? We are excited. that that was how you win the ball game, there, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, it was one of those weird games where Jacob DeGrom is dealing, things aren't going our way. Yarbrough, stays in there, keeps things close. Boone starts going to Ian Hamilton. He's going to De Los Santos there, and we're like, what the hell is Aaron Boone doing, man? He's in there stealing outs. And, it just crosses your mind there towards the end. It's still a one-run ball game. It's still a close game. This thing is still a very winnable baseball game. Then you got the runner gets thrown out there, and then Jason Dominguez, man, let's go. Jason's gotten a lot of shit this year. He's got a lot of shit about the defense. He's got a lot of shit about, not hitting off of lefties. He's a platoon player. He's, Trent Grisham's hitting better than him. There's better outfield options, blah, blah, blah. T-Rent got a lot of shit. No, T-Rent was good. Jason's got a lot of shit. Sorry, I got it mixed up there. So to see him have that moment right there, it's just unbelievable. And Aaron Boone, to his credit, does go to Weaver there late. We didn't know if he was maybe trying to save him for tomorrow or something. I don't know if there even is a game tomorrow with how the rain's looking, but Luke Weaver keeps it right there, gives the offense a chance in the bottom of the ninth, and there we go. Luke Jackson, I don't know. I feel like he's a very hittable, quote unquote, high leverage guy for the Rangers. Even when he was a Brave, he didn't feel like he was ever really automatic. He gave up that huge bomb to Bellinger in the playoffs a handful of years ago. But Jason Dominguez, man, have your moment. He's only 22 years old, man. Obviously, left side is his better side, but got his pitch and absolutely did not miss that. Just so fun to watch. So many different, twists and turns in that game. Such a range of emotions. It goes from getting shut down by Jacob DeGrom for the most part, and like, damn, it's just one of those games. To, hey, maybe we got a chance, and then seeing Hamilton and De Los Santos, and then Weaver comes in, tie game. Oh shit, maybe we got an opportunity here, and bang, happens that quick, ladies and gentlemen. So that was definitely something we wanted to see there. Going through the comments real quick, everyone is super excited about Dominguez going nuts. Jacob, how you doing, buddy? Doing good, man. Good to hear from you. Everyone talking about the Martian. Alex says Yankees in Anaheim next week. See you there. Yeah, man, I'll be there for sure. I'll be there for all three. Super excited for that one. I haven't seen much baseball in person this year, so I'm very excited to go to that game, that series for sure. Real quick, for those of you guys who are watching on Twitter, please go to my Twitter page, click the link in my bio, follow the Lasagna Show on YouTube, subscribe, and like this video. It's going to be a really fun season doing this together with you guys, and look forward to seeing you in here often. We are already approaching 300 subscribers, so it's been a pretty good start. This is our 4th week doing this, only Monday through Thursday, so I appreciate everyone's support. Once again, you can find the link to the Lasagna Show in my Twitter bio. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and look forward to seeing you guys after every game Monday through Thursday. It's going to be a good time. Obviously, the series coming up in Anaheim and the Dodgers series and stuff, I won't be able to do post games because I will be at those games. But it is for sure going to be a good season on here. Everyone just going nuts in the comments about Jason Dominguez, and let's see. Josh says you gotta love it. It's been a long overdue for a walk-off home run for the Yankees. Yeah, it has been a while. Beaver says, "Holy shit, Johnny, the Martian is here." He is, man. I've been wanting him to get the Anthony Volpe free run for a while. I think the world of Jason Dominguez. I think he'll be phenomenal from the left side, obviously going forward for the rest of his career. I don't know if it's a situation where eventually he gives up on hitting switch, but for now he needs to face more lefties to get more experience. But I want to see the guy play often. If T-Rent starts coming back down to earth and those numbers start, progressing a little bit as we expect them to, I think T-Rent goes back to being that 4th outfielder, that backup outfield option, and Jason Dominguez gets the free run going forward. He's got to play more in left field to get used to playing better defense. He's got to face lefties more to get better hitting right-handed. And then you got to have him in the lineup when he's hitting left-handed because he's a really good player from the left side. So only 22 years old as well, as we've said before. So it's definitely nice to see him get a moment there. And then Cody Bellinger, man. another guy who, got a lot of shit early in the season. Had a hot spring training, came out of the gate pretty slow. Everyone's saying he's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. He can't hit. He's, a wash, whatever. He's got an OPS over 800 now. He's got 8 homers, hitting 264 now when he was hitting like 200 a couple weeks ago. So Bellinger's been fantastic. Dominguez had his walk-off homer there. Two guys that I want to see, playing a lot, obviously. And you may or may not know this, but I do have Jason Dominguez and Cody Bellinger on my fantasy team. Nobody gives a singular shit, but I just had to pat myself on the back there, all right? As the wannabe GM that I am, got to have both of those guys there. Got to throw that in. But overall, Ryan Yarbrough, really, really solid. Soft throwing guy, comfortable 0 for 4. A guy who's kind of slid into that Cookie Carrasco spot, the Marcus Stroman spot. It's been kind of rough with the lack of depth we have there. But a few weeks ago, I said it on Twitter a few times. You might as well get rid of Cookie and get Yarbrough in the rotation. Let him start, stretch him out a little bit, let him go, 4 or 5 innings, have a long man ready. They ended up putting Yarbrough in the rotation, and he's been pretty solid. I mean, today he goes 5 innings, gives up the 1 homer to Mr. Berger. Mr. Berger had himself a day. He almost tried to fuck us today, but, we outlasted him a little bit. But Yarbrough goes 5 innings, only 3 hits, gives up the 1 homer to Berger, and had 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts from a guy that throws like 85 to 88 miles per hour. Like that. That's pretty damn good. That means he's hitting his spots, he's changing speeds, he's reading swings, he's doing all the little things you have to do to get away with pitching with that velocity in the major leagues. And he's been, I wouldn't say a godsend, but he's been a pretty damn solid option here recently. Against Tampa Bay, 4 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. Against the A's, 5 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs. Today against Texas, 5 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. So that's 5 straight pretty damn solid starts from Ryan Yarbrough, who's, back of the rotation guy for us at this point. And, with Will Warren pitching better and Yarbrough pitching pretty well, you got Max Fried in there pitching well. You got, the staff is rounding into form. Carlos Rodon, they're rounding into form, and they're doing a pretty damn solid job. Clark Schmidt looks pretty good recently. So this is a group that, is kind of treading water after Garrett Cole issue before the season with the injury. A lot of people wondering how they were going to get innings out of this group. Luis Hill goes down, and, there's a Stroman and a Cookie Carrasco and a young Will Warren and blah, blah, blah. It looked horrible. Right now, this rotation is pretty damn formidable. I think the team is 9-4 in the last 13 starts with this group. I think the ERA is around 2 points. Could be lower. It could be. I think it's in the mid 2s in the last 12, 13 games. So this is a rotation that's rounding into form. The bullpen's been pretty solid. The offense has been good. So this is a really strong baseball team at this point. And it's only going to get better with some of the guys that are coming back. So really exciting. Had a little bit of a rough outing there from Lasagna. This was the first outing we've had from him that looked like he was working through some things, not all the way back, a little bit rusty. It's one of those things where he came out looking so good. You just like, oh, okay, maybe insert him into close games. He'll just be fine. He throws hard. He's got good stuff, whatever. But, there's going to be some paint, some rust there. There's going to be some times where he comes in and he's working through some things and doesn't look great. Today was one of those days. He was missing everything arm side. So when you have a running, tailing, kind of 2-seam sinker, whatever, and you're missing arm side, it's just a release point thing. He's letting go of that thing, in a spot where that thing's just taking off and running hard into the batters there, especially the right-handers. You saw him hit Simeon. He was missing a lot up and in. So definitely an issue there that he couldn't figure out, and he got pulled for it. But, looking forward, I think he's going to fix that. I don't think it's going to be an issue going forward. And we'll look forward to more good Lasagna outings. But I like the velocity, throwing 97, 98. Something we definitely need in the bullpen. We need a little bit of juice coming out there with some heat. So excited to see Lasagna get back on track. Is that Dom? Oh, Dom is in the chat. Thanks for the profile. I didn't even realize that was the one that got the most likes. If you see Dom in the chat, go find him on Twitter. Look at his profile picture. I think he posted if Yarbrough, I think, goes toe to toe with DeGrom or out pitches him or outduels him or whatever, then the most liked, and the Yankees win, then the most liked comment in his replies would become his new profile picture for a day. So Dom is sporting my favorite Chili's meme there. So I love the dedication, Dom. You guys saw me pour a beer over my head when I said the Colts, if the Colts took what's his face, TJ Warren, the tight end from Penn State, if you took him in the first round, I would have poured a beer in my head. So yeah, I respect when someone puts it all on the line. Look, he said they're tagging you in my replies. Oh, that was the most random picture going through my gallery too. I was like, I have no idea what people are gonna like in his comments to be the one people choose. But sorry for those of you on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter right now, go find Dom's Twitter account. He's in the comments right now. Go look at his profile picture. It's pretty funny. But Jones says Loizaga's not built up over 20 pitches yet. Yeah, he's still working his way through. Sarah says, way to go, Martian. Still sad about my Colts owner passing away. Yeah, tough, man. I know Jim Irsay wasn't in the best, this is a baseball conversation, whatever, but we're just going to touch on Jim Irsay real quick. I know he was a guy that lived a pretty wild life. He was into a lot of different stuff. He was into drugs, alcohol, probably took steroids while he was getting all beefed up in the weight room, at a pretty old age. So it's one of those things where it's not super unexpected. I know he wasn't in great condition towards the end of his life. He could hardly walk. He was going through a lot of stuff. He looked pretty weak and frail. So he's been dealing with some stuff for a while. It's just one of those things where you just don't expect him to pass like that. There was no real rumors of any imminent issues that were going to be, lead to his demise. So definitely a little bit shocking that he passed this morning. Condolences to the Irsay family. And as a Colts fan, I mean, the guy has always been, so close to the community. He loves his Colts. He loved the football team. He loved the guys. He's always excited. He always wanted the Colts to win. He always wanted them to do well. So it's tough to lose a guy like that who was one of the faces of the organization, good or bad. He loved the Colts. He loved watching them win, and he would do anything to watch the Colts win. So at least he did get to see that one Super Bowl in 2006. Definitely a good thing for him there. But yeah, getting back to the Yanks though. So DeGrom coming into this game, everyone's like, oh, DeGrom is, he's been pitching well, but he's not throwing as hard, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, okay, maybe a little bit lesser of a DeGrom comes in. The Yankees offense has been playing well. Maybe the Yankees hang up a crooked number on him, and, maybe they can make him look pretty mortal. That was absolutely not what happened. DeGrom looked fantastic. He goes 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks. That second earned run actually might be the reason why Dom is sporting that profile picture now. But after this, I'll go on there and look at it and see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, the Yankees got to him, man. 2 earned runs, 9 Ks. He looked great. He was throwing 98. The changeup was disgusting. His pinpoint location, the slider was good. Everything was good. But, the Yankees just outlasted him there. You had Bellinger go yard, and then there was another one that was driven in that was charged to DeGrom. So, Yankees come out on top, and they outlast a good pitcher. And, for a bit there, it looked like Boone was trying to stay away from using a Weaver. I don't know what's going on with Cruz. Someone mentioned he might be hurt. I haven't seen him in a couple days, couple games. Something might be going on there. I don't think Devin Williams was available. Looked like he didn't want to go to Leiter. So, it looked like he was bridging the gap to a potential close game, tie game, late situation where he can use Weaver, who only threw 2 pitches yesterday, to either keep a game tied or to have a late lead and pull out and pull away with basically a stolen win. He was stealing outs with Ian Hamilton. After the way Ian Hamilton looked yesterday, he comes into a close game and you're like, what the hell is he thinking? Ends up pulling Hamilton. De Los Santos comes in and ate a chunk of innings. I was pretty surprised when he came out for that last inning. De Los Santos goes, I think he went a full. Yeah, he went full. He gave up 3 hits though, and he gave up a walk. So he didn't look great. His arm is pretty good though. I can't lie about that. He's obviously not one of the premier options out of that bullpen, but He kind of throws behind the ear a little bit. He's throwing 96 with a run with tailing action on there, which is tough for right-handers. Inside, tough for lefties going away from them. So his arm isn't bad. He's just a little wonky sometimes, and we saw it there at the end. And somehow that ball Smith hit goes right at the second baseman with the bases loaded, and we escaped that thing in a close game still somehow, because that game could have imploded late, and everyone would have been like, "Oh my God, what was Boone doing going Hamilton de Los Santos? He looked like he was going to punt." It was some very puzzling decisions there towards the end, but somehow, some way, the game stays close. The Yankees end up tying. Luke Weaver comes in, keeps it right where he is. That runner gets thrown out on second after the review, and there you go. The stage was set for Jason Dominguez, and he did his thing. With Luke Jackson on the hill, I knew there was potential for a Bellinger dinger or possibly a Jason dinger, both of the lefties, before they got to Volpe. And there you go. Didn't even have to get to Volpe, which at this point is definitely a good thing there. Volpe's been getting a lot of crap, especially for me. Did have a triple today. I don't know what the center fielder was doing. I think he could have had a beat on it. It looked like he took a misstep for a second, and then the ball just kind of jetted over his head. But we'll take it, though. We need Volpe hitting, so we'll take any little thing we can. Going through some comments there. Sarah says, my friends played for him, Dallas Clark and Bob Sanders, along with Pat Angerer. That Bob Sanders is one of my favorite Colts of all time, easily my top 3, probably top 5. Real quick, I got to go. Edgerrin James 1. Number 2, probably Marvin Harrison. Number 3, probably Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, and Bob Sanders is probably my 5 favorite Colts. Riley goes, are you worried about Cruz at all? Seems odd that Boone didn't bring him out, but could just be Boone doing Boone things. I mean, I would be a little concerned. I did see someone mention on Twitter that he might be hurt. It feels like he hasn't pitched in a long time. So sometimes with splitter guys, you can get blisters, or you can get a little situation with your fingers where you grip the ball from the friction of the baseball on the skin of your finger. Sometimes it'll tear at it a little bit, or it'll kind of mess with it. So maybe he's dealing with some of that. I'm just purely speculating. This is nothing I've heard from anybody. Could be I don't know, maybe just a tired arm period. I know he's been used often, so it could be anything. I'm not gonna. I don't want to sit here and speculate anymore, but it is a little interesting that he goes from one of your most used guys to a guy that we haven't seen in a while, especially since today felt like a game where he might be an option there late. So definitely interesting. Mike says, "What's up, Lasagna? Wouldn't any tonight?" Absolutely, man. He goes from a sad, frustrating game to a Yankees win, and we're all going to feeling happy. So I love that. Juan says, we also go up against Eovaldi tomorrow. I'm assuming he wants better arms available for tomorrow. Seen a lot of talk about the rain being pretty crazy tomorrow. I know they built this stadium in a fashion that's going to absorb a ton of water, especially out in the outfield grass. So I don't know how much rain the field can take throughout tomorrow. I heard it's going to be pretty bad, but every time I visit New York and I look at the weather forecast, that shit changes hour to hour, and it goes from pounding rainstorm to barely a drizzle to nothing that lasts a fraction of what they projected. So I don't take these weather forecasts much seriously. Maybe that's just the naive Californian over here that doesn't deal with rain that much. But I don't. Today they were saying there was potentially no game today. It hardly drizzled the whole game. So I don't know. I'll hold my breath that the storm comes in early tonight, or it comes in early morning tomorrow, dumps all the rain, and then gets out of there by a few hours before game time, and maybe they can get the game in. But Eovaldi tomorrow, a guy we've seen a lot. He's got good stuff, so that'll definitely be an interesting test for the lineup as well. DeGrom and Eovaldi back-to-back days, that's pretty tough. So we'll see if we can get away with it. That's another splitter guy. Jacob says, hopefully Cruz is not injured. I agree. Jones says Cruz is overused. Maybe I did arm. It's possible. It's very possible. Sarah says, I'm from Iowa. Originally, they played at Iowa. I partied with them a lot. Great guys. That is amazing. Amazing story. If you have their contact information, I'd love to get some autographs. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not that guy, but that'd be so cool to connect with them. That's awesome. I love those guys. Action VJ says shoulder issue per Boone for Fernando Cruz. Damn. Okay, now we're starting to see some Cruz stuff here. Jacob says Cruz is dealing with some shoulder stuff. That's why it hasn't been used these last couple of days. With Yankees, it's always very you never know what to think when they come out with these injury statements. So the Yankees, kind of sugarcoat things. So I would assume he's going to be out for a little bit. They say shoulder and no IL according to Jones. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to see if they can avoid an IL stint, but usually shoulder's pretty concerning. Elbow, forearm stuff happens, especially with a splitter guy, but shoulder is a little concerning there. It could be just a lot of overuse, being a little overworked too early, too soon. So hopefully he can kind of get over that. I don't know if it's tendonitis or maybe it's just a dead arm kind of thing, or maybe it's something he can just rest off for a few days and come back feeling better. But definitely interesting. I always assume the worst though when the Yankees come out with these statements. Um, Shoulder no IL, to me that sounds like, I don't know, a couple 10-day IL. I don't know. We'll see though. Uh, you probably want to see him pitch soon, or at least hear about some progress soon, or else they're going to have to put him on a 10-day IL because you can't have a roster spot taken up there by a guy who's out of commission for a little while. So that'll be something to keep a close eye on. Juan says they like to keep hush hush as they can. Absolutely. Ray C says they probably can't delay too much. Got to get on the road for Colorado. That's very true. Jones says, I bet IL. I bet we see IL soon. I think that is very possible. They're just kind of downplaying it right now, but it's really bad timing for that because they're gonna, like Ray said, they're gonna be heading to Colorado, then they're gonna play in Anaheim. Anaheim is no slouch, man. I think the Rockies series will be pretty easy. Should win at least 2 out of 3. Angels are scrappy. They just beat up on the Dodgers a little bit, so that's going to be interesting series for us against them. I really wish you had Cruz there in the bullpen, especially late in the game, tie game, close game situation. He's automatic with that splitty, so definitely will miss him if he does miss any substantial time. And then we got the Dodgers at the end of next week. Everybody knows how good they are, so missing Cruz there is going to be tough. We'll see how they can, kind of piece the bullpen together until then. Althu Bucko says, holy shit, after all these years, face to Lasagna. Yeah, man, I don't know where you've been, but my face has been on there pretty often. I wouldn't say super often, but I've definitely posted pictures and I've done some other video things previously. But yeah, man, happy to see you in here and jumping in the chat and sharing your thoughts is definitely cool. For those of you who are watching on Twitter, go to my Twitter page, click on the blue link in my bio. Subscribe to the Lasagna Show. Please like this video. Share some thoughts in the comments, and let's have some fun the rest of the season. It's going to be a good time. Sarah says, Ursay actually liked to feel my tweets before. That's pretty cool. He was very active on Twitter. Juan says, what are your thoughts on Wells? With Stanton lingering, we could use Ben's bat and lineup. That's very interesting. I think they love Wells. I like Wells a lot. I think he has big potential. He's struggling right now, though. He's definitely on a downturn. And you saw late there, they went right after him with a fastball up in the zone, and that was the same issue he had at the end of last season. That heater up, he just cannot lay off of it. He chases that so often. So it's tough, man. Wells is getting his first opportunity as the everyday number one catcher, and he's struggling right now. Maybe it's a fatigue thing. Maybe he's just not feeling right at the plate. It could be a combination of a few different things, but he's definitely a guy that they need to see start hitting, because he could be that extra left-handed bat along with Bellinger, Wells, Grisham, Dominguez when he's hitting lefty, to add some power in the Yankee Stadium and utilize that short porch. So hoping Wells comes out of this. Maybe it's just a slump. I hope it's just a slump. Hopefully in a week or two he's hitting again and everything is all nice and good. But I don't know how good Ben Rice is as a catcher to be the everyday catcher. I'd have to do a little bit more homework there on what he is defensively, but you would hate to put Ben Rice back there while he's hitting well, beat the shit out of him as an everyday catcher, and then he's not hitting anymore because he's fatigued or whatever. So we'll see how that plays out. It's going to be interesting, especially when Stanton gets back. It's going to be a merry-go-round, I'm sure, like they're doing with the outfield right now. Sarah says Pat and Peyton are taking it hard with Ursays. Yeah, I can definitely imagine. Not very many Yankees and Colts fans out there. I'm one of the weirdos. I know I got really weird teams that I root for, but I've been dedicated since I've been a little kid. So call it what you want. And most of my teams don't win shit right now, so you can't call me a bandwagoner. Juan says I like him too, but he's definitely struggling. Yeah, I really hope he starts hitting soon. Jones says Flores and Rodriguez waiting in the wings on the farm. Yeah, they look pretty good down there on the farm right now. So I don't know how realistic it is to expect them to come up and take playing time away from the guys that are up already, but definitely will be interesting. Luce as well as the guy, he just thinks too much at the plate. He needs to be a little patient and he'll turn it around. It could be. He is the guy, I think, and he needs to get that Volpe run throughout the rest of the season. He needs to figure it out. I still think he's a 20 to 25 homer bat. I do think he has a lot of potential. He's got great power. He's just kind of chasing right now. He's not scoring things up. So hopefully this slump, kind of reverses for him and he starts hitting. You really need it. Especially from the catcher position. Juan says, I hope this upcoming Colorado season can wake Wells up. Oh yeah. I mean, if any, it's so crazy because on TV, you always hear about how the ball travels in Colorado. You see it on TV. I never fully understood it until I saw it in person a couple years ago. I went in 2023 to catch the Yankees there. And the ball just takes off more than you expect. Like you expect it to travel and it travels more than you thought. So if you're ever wanting to get right offensively and you're Austin Wells and you have an opportunity to hit a fly ball that carries all the way out because you're in Colorado, I mean, that'd be a great time to definitely turn that slump around. Jones says he started slow last year too. He did. It's still early in the year. I know we keep saying that, but we're still in May. We still got 10-ish days left in May. June is very early summer. I think middle of July, we should start seeing, some of these slumping guys starting to find their groove a little bit. Whether it gets better, it gets easier to hit. I wouldn't say easier to hit, but it's hard to hit when it's cold. Your hands are cold, the bat's cold. You get jammed and your hands are ringing for a couple innings. The wind's blowing hard, it's raining, a lot of different stuff factors into it. It's not an excuse. It's just, it could be a part of the reason why some guys struggle early in the year, but usually midsummer time is when you start seeing guys really wake up and the ball's traveling and they're hitting well and feeling good. So hopefully Austin Wells is one of those guys. Sarah says, my dad was a Yankees and Knicks fan along with the Steelers. Got me a love for the Yankees. Oh man, I'm sorry to see that he passed away. Prayers to you guys for sure. Not easy there. But yeah, overall, 2 games against Texas, 2 wins. I really hope they can get the game in tomorrow and finish this up because I think they said obviously Texas doesn't come back to New York, so it would definitely be hard for them to make it up. Maybe they kind of do an extended rain delay tomorrow around game time, 1 to 2 hours, and they start the game around 9:00 Eastern. It'd be pretty late, but if you can get that game in and you can miss that little period where it's going to be raining the hardest, maybe it's worth doing. I think they did that not too long ago, so could be an option there. When I checked the forecast, it did show around game time and a couple hours after. The amount of rain definitely looked like it was kind of tapering off a little bit. So fingers crossed, we'll see. Ray C says if there's even a whiff of Ben Rice trying third base, it should be during the Carlos series. I don't think there's any sort of whiff that Ben Rice is playing third base anytime soon. I think that's a lot of fan speculation. I don't think, he struggles a little bit at first base, and first base isn't easy, but it's easier than third base. If he's having any sort of struggles at first, I don't think there's any universe where he plays third base. The hot corner is the hot corner for a reason, man. That's not an easy place to play. Unless he's doing some crazy work in the backfields that no one's talked about yet. I haven't heard anything from the insiders. I haven't heard anything from reporters about anything like that. So I don't think Rice at third base is anything we can realistically expect anytime soon. So kind of a pipe dream there, but it'd be great if he could. I mean, if he could put on a glove and go play third base and figure that out and in a couple of weeks, that'd be amazing, but I just don't think that's realistic. It's a tough position to play. Let's see. Juan says, I have no concern right now. Things are going good, and we have the benefit of nitpicking. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Yankees as of today, are 10 games over 500. They're 29-19. So we're looking up and down the order. We're seeing, some guys are getting hot, some guys are kind of cold still. In a perfect world, we want all the guys in there to be hitting and be having success. And everybody find their find their groove. Oh, tomorrow's an early game. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Oh shit, never mind. Totally blew that one. Oh yeah, because they're gonna come west, so they probably wanted to get a head start there for Friday. Yeah, I totally blew it there. I thought it was a night game. Okay, so 9:35 a.m. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know if they get that one in then. Yeah, it's gonna be raining pretty damn hard. I just saw your guys' comments. See, this is why we work together. We got the people in the comments, keeping me accountable, keeping me, on point here, making sure I'm talking about the right shit. And I just come on here and I just start yapping. So I think we all make a very healthy couple with a great relationship there. No, but damn. Okay, so 9:35 a.m. Pacific. That's an early one for me. But oh man, what does that weather forecast look like? Let's take a peek real quick. It looked like the weather was pretty bad in the morning and not great in the evening. Oh yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Oof. Yeah. What's today? Yeah, that looks terrible. I don't know. Maybe they push the game back a little bit, find a window, because that early time slot is getting absolutely pounded by rain tomorrow. So we'll see if they get it in. We'll see what they decide to do. If they have a full day to try to push it back a little bit. I mean, you don't want to be leaving too late to go to Colorado and fly cross country, but they're pros and they get paid well. So if that's what happens, you got to tough it out. All right, let's see. Ian is in the chat. What is up, man? Talking about Dominguez. Great to see Dominguez having his moment there, man. That was just awesome. Great for him. What do we think Dominguez over the course of a full season? What do we think his numbers would look like if he were to play? I don't know, 130 games, 140 games. I don't think it's unrealistic to expect 20 to 25 homers from Dominguez. I think he can do it. I think 750, maybe 775 OPS is doable. Obviously, he's going to hit better from the left side. But I think if you give him the free run, I think it's very doable that he puts up pretty damn solid numbers. Right now he's at 137 ABs and his OPS is 778. I don't know if he can maintain that. I think it's definitely possible. He's going to need some more consistent play, though. The whole merry-go-round in the outfield thing is going to make it hard for him to get enough at bats and to, find his groove and stay in a groove and feel comfortable as an everyday player. Let's see. Jones says 2075. That would be nice. Lou says realistically 250, 25 homers, 65 RBIs. I would sign up for that right now, and I wouldn't blink twice. Nest TBG says 20 to 25 homers with a high on base. I think so too. Ian says I think he's a 25 guy for sure. Yeah, so right now he's 137 at bats. He's hitting 240, 6 homers, 22 RBIs, and the 778 OPS. I know his time is probably going to be limited this season because of the merry-go-round situation with the outfield. But if he can get some free run there, I don't think 25 homers and a 775 OPS is out of the realm of possibility at all. So if you got a 22-year-old guy doing that, I mean, the future is looking very good. Him and Ben Rice looking very solid there. Wells is kind of struggling right now. Volpe, he is in a little bit of a free fall as well. Last 7 games he's hitting 192. OPS is falling. So going to be interesting to see if Volpe can figure something out this summer, because the last couple seasons, he starts out well. Middle of the year comes, the numbers tank, and everyone gets sad. So I definitely want to see him turn the corner this year. But let's see. Nest TBG says think Grisham coming back down to earth and the Marshall get more playing time. I agree. I don't think T Rent is going to maintain the pace that he was on early this season. Obviously, the 1,000 OPS was never gonna be what he was going to do for the whole season. Right now, it's down to 942. And he's 28. He's not a super old guy, but you'd love to see Jason Dominguez, who's the highly touted Yankee prospect for so many years, get his run. So it would suck to see T Rent come back down to earth, but it would also be nice to see Jason get more regular playing time so he can get in a groove and be the guy we know he can be. And tonight he showed you a glimpse. I mean, we've seen glimpses in the past. I think he's getting better on defense. I like his routes. I like his jumps better. He's feeling more comfortable around the wall. He's feeling better getting into that corner there in left field. So I think he's making some strides. He's making progress. I wouldn't say the sky's the limit. I think obviously, you He's going to have some limitations because he's not a true, five-tool guy. The defense needs to come around. He needs to hit better right-handed. He's not stealing a ton of bases yet because he's not getting on as much. But I think as Trent Grisham comes back down to earth, I think he will get more run. And Trent Grisham, his last 7 games, hitting 174. So his last 30 is in 230. So we're starting to see that downward trend for Trent, which is unfortunate because he's a fan favorite. That's my guy, T-Rant. Gotta love T-Rant there. But, trees don't grow to the sky. He was never going to maintain that kind of pace. He was never going to have the Aaron Judge type pace that he was set on earlier this season. So seeing some of that regression now. But, man, things are looking good with a lot of this lineup. Rice is looking good. Aaron Judge. Bellinger looks good. Dominguez looks good. DJ is kind of starting to hit a bunch of ground balls again. First couple of games we saw him, even when he was driving the ball the other way and making outs, it was a hard hit ball that was lifting. He's starting to pound the ball to the ground again, which is where he got that DJ LeGround out. So it's one of those things, we're kind of in a position, especially losing Oswaldo and Jazz being out for a while, where DJ is going to get a lot of run. We're going to see Peraza. We're going to see Vivas. We're going to see LeMahieu. So that group right there, you'd like to see a little bit of offense. I mean, we're not expecting an 800 OPS and a bunch of homers and doubles and a bunch of all that kind of good stuff. But if Vivas, Peraza, and DJ can contribute at all offensively, then it'll be a massive lift for the rest of this lineup. But you really can't expect much for them. So my hopes aren't up. So there's going to be some holes in this lineup, especially at the bottom going forward. But, as long as the Boppers up top, the Goldschmidts, the Judges, the Bellingers, the Dominguez, Stanton's coming back. As long as those guys are doing their thing, I think the lineup is going to be just fine, even with a few holes down there at the bottom. Real quick, checking out the comments. Martian to the moon, absolutely. Let's see. Jones says his right-handed bats are getting better. They are. He's hitting a lot of balls hard from that side that have been outs too, which you don't see. I mean, if you follow some advanced metrics, you can see the hard hit rate, and you can see the barrel percentage, and you can see what the batting average in play was supposed to be for a ball like that gets caught. A little bit of bad luck there, but as long as a guy plays, a lot going forward, some of those things tend to even out. So maybe some of those hard hit balls start to fall for him. Rodolfo says, Johnny, tell me why is the reason don't give Lombard Jr. a chance to play third base? I know he's only 19 years old. I think that's the reason. He's still very young. He's getting his first taste of Double-A, and he's doing pretty well. I've seen some highlights the last few days. He's hitting the ball pretty well, driving in some runs. He's putting together good at bats, which is what you want to see. But he's going to need a few more months in Double-A at least. And then if he's, crushing the ball maybe for a few months and they're like, okay, there's a huge need, DJ, and, Jazz is a little bit delayed and DJ's not looking good and Peraza's not looking good. Vivas doesn't look good. I think it would come out of a need with that group being very poor for them to rush a Lombard Jr., but I don't think that's even a relative possibility until maybe August or September. But he'd have to be hitting like 320, 330, 340 in Double-A for them to and just blow their socks off for them to rush him that quickly. So very exciting young player, but I think it's still a little early for him. I think he has a legitimate chance to get some run early next season out of spring training, but this year might be a little premature, and I don't think they want to rush him and ruin his development. So definitely something to look forward to, though. I don't think he's going to be down the minors for too long. Ness says if they leave Volpe hitting 6th or 7th, I think he'll be more consistent hit. I think he should be 7th or 9. It just looks like he presses when they hit him middle of the order. I don't think he's that run producer type. Put him at the bottom of the order, let him build confidence, and leave him there. Like you don't have to force him into the middle of the order, especially when you face lefties. I know they look at splits and they look at all those different kind of things, but there's really no need to force him into that role. He doesn't look comfortable there. He hasn't had success there much. So definitely would want to see them drop him in the order a little bit. Volpe has been cool, but that triple off DeGrom was impressive. Yeah, it was. I thought I'm not being a hater. I thought the outfielder misplayed a little bit, but it is what it is. I know there's a lot of catch probability guys out there, so I would have liked to see the catch probability on that. I thought he had an opportunity to make that catch if he got a better jump. Ian says Bellinger's heating up huge for this team. Absolutely. Former MVP. He looked great in 2023. He looked pretty solid in 2024, battling some injuries, so he's definitely a bat I think we can rely on down the stretch. And we are loving that. Juan says Paul doesn't get enough love, man. He's quietly just there consistently. He's a pro's pro, man. Paul Goldschmidt is just my biggest concern with him before the season was him becoming a Josh Donaldson type for this team. I thought his first half of last season was very concerning, especially for a guy pushing 40. I think he's 37. But his second half last season seems to have carried over, and whatever he found in that second half last season, it's alive and well right now, and he's doing fantastic. So very excited to see what Paul Goldfish is doing. Paul Goldfish, you heard it here first. All right. When that goes mainstream, you know where Paul Goldfish came from. All right, pal. Just kidding. Ian says heating up right as T-Rat is slumping. Yeah. It's kind of a merry-go-round. I think that's lasted a little bit longer than I think everyone expected, but naturally one guy's going to cool off and the next guy's going to be hot and they're going to inject him right into that situation and go with the hot hand like you have to. Lou says, I'll take defensive competitive at-bats from those three and leave the heavy lifting to the rest of the lineup. Yeah, I think that's the most realistic way to look at that group. I don't think Peraza, Vivas, and DJ are going to really offer anything offensively. Just hopefully they catch the damn ball. That's all I want. Jones says, I don't want Jazz batting fourth when he comes back. Yeah, that would not be ideal. Kind of let him get it back into a groove. He was struggling before he got hurt. Ironically, he got hurt, and then he shortened up his swing a little bit and hit a triple down the line, so that was interesting. So we'll see how they work Jazz in, but I think he's still a little bit of ways away. He had a pretty bad, I think it was oblique pull, so not ideal. Or lateral, I think it was oblique. Rob says he's 26. Great thoughts. You think he'd slot to shortstop and move Volpe to second or third? I don't know. They love Volpe as a shortstop. I think there's a big need for third base, so I think Lombard would be probably a third baseman going forward, but you probably slot Jazz in at second, leave Volpe at short, and Lombard would play third. That's probably what they would be thinking if they were going to pick between that group and align them defensively. So we'll see. Volpe hasn't had the greatest defensive year this year compared to what he had been doing. So I don't know if they have, if their plans for Volpe being the shortstop of choice going forward is going to change. I don't think it will, but we'll see. It was a long season. He could, pick things up, and we could have a pretty good situation where we just have a gaping hole at third, and Lombard could step right in and be that guy, maybe end of the year or next year. So exciting to have some young talent like that floating around and being close to ready. Nesta's heard Rice been practicing at third. Is that true? I haven't heard it from anywhere. Maybe I'm missing it. If anyone has seen anything about Ben Rice playing third base, send me the link. Send it to me on Twitter. I haven't seen anything about that. Usually there's some video of a guy in the backfield taking ground balls, or he's down, in the cage and getting fungo ground balls hit at him and working on his footwork and shit like that. I just haven't seen any of that. I've seen more Aaron Judge taking ground balls at first base than I have Ben Rice taking ground balls to play third. So if you find that stuff, send it to me. I'd love to see it. If Ben Rice somehow learned how to play third base, holy shit, that solves a lot of problems, especially when Stanton gets back. But I don't think it's fair to him to take on such a tough position in the major leagues and learn that in real time with major league talent smoking ground balls at you down the line. Like that's not easy, and playing third base is not something you can pick up overnight. So it's going to take a lot of work if he does commit himself to doing that. So something to watch for sure. But again, if you see any videos or any evidence of Ben Rice attempting to play third, send it to me. I'd love to see it. Ness says sign of a good team when different players step up and carry despite the musical chairs. 100%. All 9 guys in a lineup are not going to be hot at the same time. Guys are going to go through, one group of guys will go through slumps, another group of guys will stay hot. You just hope the whole lineup doesn't slump at the same time like we've seen sometimes. Usually the June swoon comes and the Yankees lose a bunch of games and then pick things back up in July and August and have a good year. But coming up on June now, hopefully that June swoon does not last and there's no hangover after they leave the West Coast and come back east. So something to watch there. Lou says Boone was questioned about Rice fielding grounders at third and responded to it by asking people saw Goldschmidt taking grounders at short. So I don't think there's any credence to it being legit, most likely playing around. Yeah, so there you go. There's your answer. If he's countering that response with a Goldschmidt taking grounders at short, there is no way in hell you will see Ben Rice playing third base at all going forward, especially this season. So, it is what it is. Real quick for you guys who are watching on Twitter, go to my Twitter page, click the blue link in my bio, like this video, subscribe to the Lasagna Show, and let's have some fun this year. It's been a really fun 4 weeks. I look forward to continuing to do this throughout the rest of the season, into the playoffs and beyond. So hopefully it's a great run and we can go on this little adventure together. Definitely appreciate all your guys' support. So yeah, we'll see how the game looks tomorrow. I mean, the forecast looks very shitty. It's an early game. It gives them a little bit of room to maybe push things back a bit. But they do have to get on a plane and head out to Colorado, which is, it's not a hard flight, but it's not an enjoyable flight. So we'll see what happens. If the weather cooperates, cool. If not, then I will be seeing you guys sometime next week. Angels, I think, play Monday. I think the Yankees play the Angels Monday through Wednesday, so I will be at those games. I will be posting some YouTube shorts. So I haven't posted any of those yet. I will be mostly posting YouTube shorts when I'm at the games. So it'll be different clips of different stuff going on, get a little bit of feel for the environment, having a little bit of fun with some friends. So that'll definitely be something to look forward to there. I'll try to take some video and make it a very immersive experience for those of you who don't live in SoCal and can't be there. But, SoCal shows out for the Yankees, man. I know SoCal people get a lot of crap for being Yankee fans that live across from the entire country, and we're not Dodger fans and we're not this and that. But, Yankee fans in SoCal show out to these games. Half of the stadium or more will be Yankees fans. You might hear people doing a roll call. You might hear people behind the Yankees dugout going nuts. So it's definitely a fun environment. We look forward to it all year long. Every year we look forward to the West Coast swing. It's very cool that Major League Baseball is doing more interleague play. So every other year the Dodgers will host the Yankees in LA, and that's definitely something I always circle on my calendar. So super excited for those games, and it's going to be a really good time. And I'm interested to see how the Yankees, match up with the Dodgers again. It's going to be mayhem at that stadium. Obviously, a World Series rematch. The fans are going to be going nuts. Those of us wearing Yankee stuff in the stadium are going to get a whole lot of shit. So there will be a fair share of fights you'll see on TV. You'll see some yelling and screaming and the crowd going nuts. So we got a really fun week of baseball coming up. But hopefully tomorrow's game gets played first before they go out west, and then we'll see how everything goes. But definitely a fun one tonight. Jason Dominguez was the hero. Absolutely love to see that from him. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. All right, hopefully the weather holds up. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it a ton. Hopefully we can do it tomorrow and have some fun. But until then, I will see you next time, and have a great rest of your night. Go Yankees.